These bridezillas have lost they dang minds.
Can't lose something you never had, right, pal?
Would I be the a-hole if I stepped down from the wedding party after being fired as maid of honor 2 months before the wedding? Ooh, you got demoted, eh? All right. Maybe season. There is a trigger warning on this. Entitlement. I have a feeling that there will be a lot of entitlement in this entire video. Nearly a year ago, my best friend asked me to be her maid of honor. I was so excited and I said yes, and I took the task very seriously. I've gone dress shopping with her for her dress, went shopping with her for bridesmaids' dresses as well. I spent hours addressing save the dates with her, kept in contact with her bridesmaids about ordering their dresses, planning jewelry and shoes in the color she wants. I made sure someone could organize her bridal shower because I was out of state for work for 3 months, making sure they understood her wishes for the party. I also personally took the time to look through her decor inspo and saved items on an Amazon list for her to go through so she could look at affordable options she wanted to purchase, which she was very happy about. Okay, kind of sounds like you're going like above and beyond, bestie. I also want to note, I have already planned her bachelorette party and needed to call and finish the booking process completely as we are little more than a month out. It's being hosted in town and a very chill night as she requested. I travel for work and I turned down multiple jobs so I would be close for her wedding and events if she were to need my help planning these last few months. This has resulted in me being out of work for the last 3 months because she was upset I was going to be out of state. There have been no jobs close enough to home that made sense, as I'd have to drive back home multiple times during my assignment. But finally, I found a job. Hooray. I literally rearranged my career just to be close by and to help her.
You're doing too much.
This seems like a lot. I'm just saying, like, I didn't have a bridal party. Like, my friends all collectively kind of planned stuff for me. And similarly, when my friends got married, I also planned things for them and helped. But like, I never would expect them to put their life on hold to plan my wedding events or to be close to me. That's a lot. It was a shock to me to receive a very lengthy text this week telling me she was going to have someone else take over as maid of honor and she was demoting me to a bridesmaid because I told her I may not be able to attend her bridal shower due to work. I could only submit a request for the weekend of her wedding off. I would attend rehearsal, but maybe not rehearsal dinner because I was under the impression I had to pay for dinner myself and it was at a very expensive restaurant, and because I cannot currently afford to get my nails done the day before the wedding, and I told her I likely won't be attending that event either. So OP specifies finances are tight with a new house, personal wedding planning, and a baby on the way. Okay, so she's unable to be at quite a few events. Like, let's just say that. She's unable to be there. I still don't really understand the demotion as maid of honor. I don't feel as though maid of honors should be like at your beck and call just because like they're your close friend for like the year of your wedding planning process.
What's your sole purpose in this army?
To do whatever you tell me, drill sergeant.
You know, it's important that they be there for events, but like when you have like a bridal shower, like bachelorette, like rehearsal dinner, like, and also you're not paying for it for them, I feel like it's a lot to ask to be there for everything. Just saying. She feels I haven't communicated with her enough, even though I check in at least once a month asking if she needs me. I always end these convos with telling her she should reach out if something comes up. Also, apparently my texts don't come off as being excited for her, which makes her mad. Okay, it is possible that maybe your texts are coming off like, oh, what else? But I think maybe you kind of have the right. I think that maybe after a certain point, you have the right to like not be like jumping at the opportunity to like put your whole life on hold every single time she asks. I guess she feels like I don't want to be involved at all because of these few things, thus her stripping me of the position after I've done all this work. I think you are trying to make up for the fact that you can't be there by doing things that you can do. Like you're doing your best.
What am I doing? What am I doing? My best.
I really wish that she was able to recognize that. Like, don't get me wrong. It sucks that your maid of honor can't be there for your wedding events. But at the same time, it's like, it kind of sounds like OP's in a bit of a bind and it's not personal. It's just the way it is. So this text also came right after I asked if we could have a backup learn how to bustle her dress in case my pregnant belly doesn't allow me to bend and squat very well to do it on the wedding day. Apparently, it saddened her that I even asked. I mean, I also feel like you're trying to like cover bases to like make sure that she's covered. And like, not only that, you know, sometimes people are in the bathroom or something. Like, it's good to have a backup. She said she needs someone who will be there for all events physically to support her. It's a lot. That's a lot of events to like be at her beck and call and like having to put your whole life on hold. It's one thing if it's like, okay, like maybe we pick 2 events or something like that, you have to be there, but like this whole like bridal party culture is like so, like they're not your like ladies in waiting. Like, is that what? Yes, mistress. I will be there at any point in time. I will spend all my money just to be there for you on your wedded days. I feel pretty bummed and disrespected right now, as if nothing I did mattered. I'm considering stepping down completely after this. Would I be the a-hole doing so? I feel like no.
No.
I think that you are trying your best. I'm just gonna say it sucks to have your best friend unavailable to attend multiple wedding events. The bride is valid for feeling sad about that, but at the same time, it's like, just because your feelings about a particular thing are valid, that doesn't mean that you have the right to like treat people badly. I firmly believe that OP, if she could, would attend those events, but she can't. It's not deliberate. She's not like doing things to deliberately hurt her friend. But I do feel like demoting someone as maid of honor because you need like someone at your beck and call for like your wedding events. Like, what does that even mean? You need someone there for what?
Because I'm old and lonely.
Send emails to like the party planner or like the venue. Like, you can do that yourself. I'm sorry. I just like, apart from a wedding planner, like talking to venues, like specifically, like I don't see why you need anyone else to do stuff for you for your wedding. I think I had one friend come and learn how to bustle my dress. And then the day of the wedding, when we were all kind of hanging out, like another one learned how to bustle my dress just in case. Some of my friends planned like little things, like surprises for me for my bachelorette, but like I did the planning. I did the planning for every event, the engagement party, the bachelorette party, the wedding, the welcome party. I did all the planning.
Please clap.
And if I didn't plan something, I would pay someone to do the planning. I literally don't understand this mentality of like needing someone there at your beck and call, like literally for what? What do you need someone there for? To go to the bathroom with you? Like, what do you mean?
But I'm scared.
Let's learn how to be a little independent, ladies. Not the a-hole. It sounds like her long-term memory isn't so great and you're only worth what you've done for her today. Or this is a relationship in which the bride is the one that's constantly like getting people to do stuff for her, or maybe she sees OP as like a friend of convenience, and the minute that that friend of convenience is not available, now suddenly they're not friends or not as good of friends, you know? Just because someone can't do everything you ask leading up to your wedding, that does not mean that you're not good friends. You went above and beyond. Sorry, I'm never gonna risk my job for someone else's wedding. I agree. I don't understand why you did that. And then she's upset because you aren't there 24/7, 365 days a year. Just bow out completely. I wouldn't attend or send a gift. She costs you thousands of dollars and is working on destroying your sanity. Yeah, I really don't understand this mentality of like,
I need my best friend there.
like, okay, you can have your best friend there for the wedding, but like, it's too much. Like, you're going too far. Grow up.
I need my best friend there.
So some people in the comments are pointing out, like, honestly, you need to be prepared if you step down and like get out of the wedding party, that like you probably won't be her friend anymore. And I think that's totally fair. I think that they are right in that assessment. So you need to be prepared to lose this person as a friend.
She didn't deserve you.
Wow, massive, not the a-hole. You've gone out of your way for this person. who you thought was your best friend, and she pee-peed all over you when you couldn't put 100% of your own life completely on hold to wait on her hand and foot. This is the thing, like, why do brides or bridezillas expect their friends to literally be their, like, ladies in waiting, like they're slaves? Your friends will show up for you, like, especially on the wedding day, hopefully, if they're, you know, good friends and there's not, like, crazy circumstances that prevent them from doing that. This mentality of, like, needing, like, little slaves, like little minions to follow you around and do your bidding, like, what are you... Be so for real. You are not the a-hole, and I would seriously reconsider whether this is even a friendship. If it were me, I wouldn't go to the wedding at all. So OP has an update. I sent a text last night that outlined essentially everything I've done listed here in this post, and I expressed how hurt and disrespected I feel. I told her what I felt a maid of honor is, and that I felt this wasn't it, and that this is all basically transactional and based on what more I could offer her. Bingo. I also included in the fact that she hasn't personally communicated with me much either lately about the wedding or my personal life. I politely let her know that I'd be stepping down, sent over 8 hours ago with no response. Yeah, I mean, I think OP is like absolutely hit the nail on the head. Like, this is a transactional friendship, and if you're not there to do everything she asks, she doesn't consider you a friend. It is what it is. Okay, so we have one more update. It took 2 full days for her to respond. We went back and forth quite a bit with her telling me the additional reasons for demoting me, where I hadn't been texting her enough and asking her about her personal life. I wasn't excited enough in my messages about the wedding. Essentially, she felt I was more concerned with my own life, currently pregnancy and finding a job, than I was with her wedding. Yeah. I'm sorry, you are the main character in your own life. She's the main character of her life. You're the main character of your life.
I'm sorry, you don't consider me a #1 priority in your life.
Yeah, I would feel like the #1 priority in her life would be like her, you know, unborn child and like her husband or like fiance and her own wedding. Well, yeah. There were a lot of pity me messages from her, and after reiterating I no longer wanted to be in the wedding at all, I stopped replying. I haven't heard from her in over 3 weeks. I've returned my bridesmaid's dress and I feel so at peace with my decision. I don't think I'll be attending the wedding at all. Good. Thank you for all the well wishes for my pregnancy and baby as well. We found out last week it's a boy. I start my new job this week, so time to get my finances back on track and try to fix the mess that's been created in that area before the baby is here. I can't even imagine the amount of stress that this has caused you. Like, this girl is freaking pregnant and she doesn't have a job. I'm blown away that, like, yes, I understand her friend is getting married and it's super important, but like, just because you're getting married, that doesn't make you the priority for like the entire year. Like, sometimes people have going on and like, you also have to show up for as a friend. Am I wrong? I don't think so. Not the a-hole. Am I the a-hole for telling wedding guests to audition to speak at my wedding? Okay.
And you think that's a good idea?
I'm so tired, guys. I'm just so tired. I'm getting married next year. My partner and I both have very, very large families. I know that the majority of them will want to speak at the wedding, but if all of them do, it will last 4 days and all guests will be gone by the 3rd speaker. I was thinking about how I would like to approach this. Out of the 25 or so, I wish I was exaggerating, that would like to speak, I think 7 of them would actually give speeches worth listening to. Oh my goodness. But my partner and I would like to cap it at 4, maybe 5. Here were our 2 options. 1, draw from a hat, although that would give an equal possibility to all 20 to get chosen, which is not what we want. 2, have them audition. I can think of like literally 50 million things I would rather do than audition for my friend's wedding to be able to speak. Have them audition. We pick the top 4 or 5 contenders. The extra positive aspect with that is that we can hear and read what they intended to say, and that way they don't feel like they were entirely excluded. Yeah, but they'll be extremely upset if they go through all this trouble to audition for you and then they don't get the role.
Is this some kind of joke?
Oh my God, dude. My sister thinks this is a terrible idea and makes us look extremely selfish. Am I the a-hole? 100%. You are delulu. Delusional. You're smoking the delulu lettuce. Oh my God. I don't understand why it's so hard, okay? Your parents his parents, then we go down, okay? So parents on either side, then maybe, siblings, if they feel like doing some sort of speech, they could do like a joint speech. And then friends, like top 2 best friends do a joint speech, top 2 best friends do another joint speech. It is not that difficult, okay? Everyone else seems to be able to find a way to organize this without having people audition. I would rather chew glass than audition to speak at someone's wedding. Oh my God. I'm not a fan of auditioning. Like, I like it, but it's also just like so annoying. It's just such an annoying thing. I can't even imagine being asked to do this. I would flat out say no. Like, I'd be like, honestly, I'd rather not. The only reason why I speak at weddings is because I'm asked. If I had a choice, I probably wouldn't. You gotta be sober or sober-ish. You gotta chill out. Everybody else is having a good time and stuff. And I get really nervous. I know that I'm a YouTuber and stuff like that. And I talk to cameras for a living, but I get really nervous, okay? Public speaking. I'm nervous the whole day leading up to it. I'm not able to enjoy the wedding. I can't even imagine. Speaking at weddings can be fun, but for the most part, it's a bit of a pain in the So why? If I was asked to audition, I would flat out be like, no.
No, I don't think I will.
And also, you don't get to control what people say in their speeches either. That's kind of the fun part, right? It's supposed to be this, event where you hear all these nice things for the first time, or maybe you hear some embarrassing things for the first time. I don't know. It's just you can't control what people say. This is giving very controlling. You're the a-hole. This is obnoxious behavior. Yes, the day needs to be about you, but that doesn't mean that you get to act like a diva casting director. Put on your adult pants and just pick someone to speak. Literally, it's not that difficult. Parents, siblings, friends, best friends, and that's it. You can have the nonas and the nonos say something during the ceremony. There's plenty of ways to set it up, but this is just ridiculous.
You've lost your mind.
I would tell you to f*** off if I had to audition and have my speech vetted, just to have the privilege of speaking at your wedding. Literally, I audition for things to have the privilege to be paid to be a performer. I'm not going to audition for something I don't even want to do in the first place. Pick a couple of people you trust or are most relevant and tell others you already have people giving speeches, so there unfortunately won't be time. Yeah, it is a terrible idea and a really fast and easy way to have nobody speak at your wedding, because nobody would want to do this. It is decided you are the a-hole. Am I the a-hole for telling my friend that her free wedding is unrealistic? Free wedding, you say? Interesting. Wonder what that means. I, 24 female, am a member of a friend group in which one member, we'll call her Coral, 23 female, is getting married. She announced her engagement to her fiance, 25 male, a few weeks ago, and we were all happy for her. Over the weekend, though, she shared more specific plans for the wedding, and that's where things have kind of gone off the rails. Ooh. She said she's been seeing a lot of people on TikTok and Insta showing off how to plan free weddings. Weddings where the couple spends $0, aside from the marriage certificate fee, I guess. At first, I thought she meant a city hall wedding, which would be completely fine, but then she and I got to the details and her expectations for the ceremony. Okay, so hold on. The bride and the groom don't spend $1, but then everybody else has to pay for everything?
Precisely.
Because I'm sorry, I'm hearing ceremony and I'm thinking unless somebody has a backyard that you can use, I don't see, and even then, this is a huge pain in the ass to host someone else's wedding. Okay, she's gonna try and find someone with a large outdoor space to use, not formally a wedding venue, who will donate their area in support of love. I think unless somebody offers, that's not something that is going to happen. I'm just saying. She's going to have all of her guests bring a potluck with very specific assignments. Okay. I mean, I've seen this before. I've seen a potluck wedding. It wasn't bad, actually. It was I feel like it was a buffet and potluck kind of situation. So I've seen that. She will have a friend officiate, a friend do photography, and a friend do save the dates and invites. her family to do the flowers, etc., including some harder to swing, in my opinion, things like getting a large tent, decorations, wedding favors, speakers, a band. I'm not sure what her plan was for a dress. I'm just, okay, like, it would be nice, don't get me wrong, to not spend any money, but like, why do you want to have a wedding where like you're not contributing anything to your own wedding and you just want everyone else to do it for you? You're hosting a party, my guy. You have guests coming from like out of town, probably people taking time off work for you, giving you gifts. Maybe this is a cultural thing, but like
In my culture.
no, but seriously, like, I don't know, my parents are European and like when we host, we take care of everything. You don't have to lift a finger. But then my parents, oddly enough, they always complain when like their friends invite them over, like friends that they've invited and like taken care of everything. Those friends will then invite them and say, oh, could you like bring some dessert or something? And they always about it because they just think like it's so fucking rude.
Canadians. The Canadians are heathens.
But it's like cultural, right? Like I feel like it's like different cultures. Anyways, I grew up feeling like if you're gonna be hosting an event, you need to like be a host. And that means, unfortunately, paying for some things. And like, believe me, I get it. The wedding industry is crazy. It's so expensive. It is so hard to have a wedding for even less than like $20,000, especially in like a big city. But, you know, I've seen people do it where they do the city hall wedding and then they just all go to a bar afterward. Some like bars, you know, you could rent out the whole thing for like a couple $1,000 or whatever. Cash bar, I don't know, I guess. But it's just like, this is just a lot to ask of everybody, and I'm not a fan. It's tacky, in my professional opinion. And I am a professional. I feel like I'm like a professional wedding judge. What is more is that Coral and her fiance really aren't poor. Oh, stop. Oh, please.
Stop it. Get some help.
From what I can tell, she works as an accountant at a big company and her fiance does software sales. Oh, okay, so they have money.
We're in a different tax bracket. Okay.
Plus, his parents are loaded. It sounds like they just want to do the free wedding thing for the sake of it. I feel like I know exactly what TikTok this person is talking about because I've seen that TikTok and it was like, I feel like people were sitting on like barrels of hay or something. Like for the ceremony, people were sitting on hay. Stop it right now. No way. Get a nice little tick at the ceremony. Lyme disease. That would be okay, but she's shifting all the costs onto other people, some of whom are probably less well off. Yeah, no, not fair. She told me she wants to make the cake and then sent me some pictures for inspiration. The cakes were ridiculously elaborate. We're talking multi-tier fondant flowers, gold leaf, and one even had a hand-painted watercolor design. I'm not a professional baker. I just like to bake cookies and brownies sometimes. She wants OP to make the cake. Oh, no. Absolutely not. Can you imagine being entrusted with, with this responsibility? Dude, this is a surefire way to have a show of a wedding because if you're entrusting other people that are not professionals to like take care of for you, like,
You're gonna have a bad time.
people are gonna have it. They're gonna be resentful. They're not gonna do a good job. Some people are probably gonna drop out at the last minute. Like, this is a surefire way of like having a disaster of a wedding. I told her those cakes would probably take me days and they won't come out anywhere near as good. She kind of laughed it off and said, oh, it's not about being perfect. It's just about everyone pitching in.
It'll be fun.
Wait, that doesn't sound fun.
That is not my idea of fun. I told her that fun or not, what she was describing was basically her friends and family subsidizing her wedding with time, money, and labor. And it was unfair to expect people to spend that much on her free wedding. Or else she was expecting everyone to show up to a lackluster event and just pretend it was amazing. This is the thing. If you're not paying professionals to like at least do things like the flowers, like I feel like, you know, everybody can kind of cook a decent meal maybe, but like things like the flowers, the decor, like don't you want like quality at your wedding? Ugh, this sounds like such a drag for everybody. My social anxiety could never. It's like a group project that none of us wanted to do because we already graduated and moved on from that, so we don't need the credit. Yeah, pretty much. I said if she wants a free wedding, she should probably elope or go to City Hall because this isn't really free. It's just free for her. That part. I might have been a little more forceful in my wording, but I didn't swear or call her names or anything like that. She got super quiet and just looked at me for a minute or so and then left with another one of our friends driving her home. Later that night, I got a text from a friend saying that I really hurt Coral's feelings. Okay, maybe so. Like, I'm sure that she had this like grand idea of like being able to share this on TikTok and brag about it. But like, I guarantee you that TikTok where people are bragging about like,
Oh, I had a free wedding. I didn't pay for anything.
I don't think that it was as great as she made it seem. It might have been great for her because she didn't pay for anything, but like not for everybody else involved. I'm just saying. Even if her plans were a bit unrealistic, I should have just let Coral come to that conclusion on her own. No. It's everybody being yes men with Coral. Oh, that would be like nice. Yeah, sure. Oh, how fun. Those friends are the friends that are the problem. Like, I'm just saying, this should have been shut down like immediately. Coral messaged me saying, sorry, don't worry about the cake, with no more context. Yeah, no, so she's just passing off that duty to someone else. The duty. I'm feeling pretty bad right now, especially since Coral was so happy and excited and she never really said anything mean to me. Perhaps I should have just gone along with the cake since she said she wouldn't be mad if it turned out badly, but I'm worried that her wedding would not have been what she wanted. And I was also frustrated about the cake request. I think that if you didn't say it, someone else would have. And like, maybe you could have waited for someone else to, but like, you're all gonna be like wasting time up until that point. Like, you're getting to the same conclusion. Like, why not just get there faster, you know?
That's what she said.
I'm not a fan of wasting time. I'm really not. Edit to add. Honestly, I feel a bit bad now. Coral is a really sweet person who's just a bit naive. I feel like a lot of people in the comments are tearing her up more than she deserves. She's always been the baby of the group, and I just got frustrated and ranted on this case. I don't know what the fiance thinks about all this. I understand that Coral is a nice person, okay? She's also a bit delulu. This is a lot to ask. And she can be a perfectly sweet and nice person. I know plenty of perfectly sweet and nice people who are also a bit entitled. And I feel like they also get away with being entitled because they're perfectly sweet and nice. But it still doesn't change the fact that this is a lot to ask of your family and friends. And I think the right thing to do here would be to like, okay, maybe there's some things that people can pitch in and do, but there are certain things that she's gonna have to like take the reins on. Like, she's gonna have to pay for the venue if she can't find, you know, someone to host her wedding for free. Like, she has to be willing to like pitch in too, because like asking everybody else to do it for her when she's not like in a position where she can't afford it, I feel like is really...
It's so icky.
I understand that like she's nice and stuff, but like this is not a nice thing to do. I'm just saying. Not the a-hole. She's in for a rude awakening the first time she asked for a free party tent from someone. Those are expensive as to rent. Maybe she's getting ahead of herself here. Maybe she just truly doesn't understand how much work goes into a wedding. But there's a reason why like these vendors have such intense contracts. Granted, the wedding industry is out of control. Like, people are charging way too much. There's like a wedding tax on things that should be a lot cheaper. I get it to some degree because you have to deal with people. People are pains in... You have to deal with like so many circumstances that are out of your control, people not paying, like people not showing up, like all of these things. That person that shared on TikTok that they did a free wedding, that was like a once in a blue moon sort of situation. And I guarantee you it wasn't as great as she made it seem. Okay, there's people in the comments who are saying, you know, there's people out there that did like, you know, cheap weddings. You can, you know, go to a park and have like a barbecue with people, like invite everybody to the park so you don't have to pay for a venue, right? But expecting like things like flowers, like the quality of a big extravagant wedding, but everybody else having to like pitch in and do, like that's not, no. We rented a nice community center in a nice neighborhood for $200 for the day and used very little decor beyond candles and tablecloths. I found my bridesmaids' dresses on clearance at Macy's for $10 a piece, and they each carried a single lily. My mother-in-law made my dress, my family made the food, and my sister-in-law took pictures. My husband's tux was free when the groomsmen rented theirs. I made the cake. Total cost under $2,000. But this is like, it's still $2,000.
Nothing is free in this world, huh?
Cheap as possible, but it's not going to be fancy, and people need to volunteer rather than being voluntold. That part, okay? If people all pitch in and offer, that's one thing. It's still a lot. Like, I would feel... I don't know if I would be comfortable with someone offering to do stuff like this for my wedding, but, you know... Anyways, the fact that she's telling people that this is what they need to do to show up for her is very unfair. So am I the a-hole for telling your friend that her free wedding is unrealistic? No, I mean, she needed to be told by somebody, and like, granted, you know, you could have waited for someone else to tell her. You know, why delay the inevitable? Not the a-hole. Am I the a-hole for not attending my granddaughter's wedding? This was posted in the Charlotte Dobre YouTube subreddit. I female 84, was preparing to attend my granddaughter's wedding, female 28. It was a destination wedding, but not out of the country. Think we all live in Myrtle Beach, but the wedding was in Charleston, about 4 hours away. This was to be a 2-night stay, as the wedding was to be on a Friday afternoon. So we're leaving Thursday morning and staying through Saturday. My son, the father of the bride, was going to drive me as it was so far away. On Thursday morning, just as I was getting up, the father of the bride came into my room and said he was not going to attend the wedding. Oh. I was so confused. He was clearly distraught and looked ill. He explained to me that the prior evening, my daughter, female 46, who is also aunt and godmother to the bride, B, has been trying to find out when and where the rehearsal dinner was going to be, and we were all going to drive together and had not been given details about the rehearsal dinner. Apparently, when my daughter, aunt/godmother of the bride, had texted my youngest granddaughter and sister of the bride about the details, she'd been given a place and time, information that had not been shared with father of the bride and other family members on the father of the bride's side. Father of the bride and mother of the bride are divorced, but the father of the bride had paid $20,000 toward this event. After an hour, aunt of the bride had received a new text. Sorry, aunts and uncles are not invited to the rehearsal dinner. My daughter, aunt of the bride, was devastated.
When you assume, you make an ass out of you and me.
She replied, so I'm not invited? She had been so involved in the bride's life, had taken her on several trips out of the country, in the country, etc., and it was a rehearsal dinner for an out-of-town wedding. This didn't make sense. We had already been invited to attend a shower for the bride.
It's not that serious, really.
When father of the bride had called the bride Wednesday night, the bride answered,
"What do you want, Dad? I'm busy. It's my wedding week."
She and in-laws to be had gone up early and were partying in a beachfront suite. When father of the bride asked why his sister, aunt of the bride, had not been invited to the rehearsal dinner, the bride said no, there wasn't room at the venue. The venue for the rehearsal dinner held 50 people. The bride's side had a very small number of people. Father of the bride, mother of the bride, her husband, 2 grandmothers, 2 other grandparents, aunt of the bride, and that was it. Total of 10. The step-grandfather wasn't attending, as he had been placed in a memory care home that week. New wife of father of the bride wasn't attending either. There are no other aunts and uncles on the bride's side, just my daughter, aunt of the bride. My other son and another uncle of the bride had passed, so I don't know if the groom had aunts and uncles, but we didn't meet any at the shower. When father of the bride found out that his sister, aunt of the bride, wasn't invited to the rehearsal dinner, she became very upset, as he knows how much his aunt of the bride had done for the bride. Apparently they couldn't have children of their own, and it was an out-of-town wedding. Okay, so obviously there's like a blanket statement that goes with this, which is like, you know, it's their wedding, they can invite who they want, etc., etc. But I think in the case where it's an out-of-town wedding, everybody's driving up and like spending money, and like this is a destination wedding. Like this is like, you still have to get a hotel, you have to spend money on gas, you have to fly or whatever. I think the day before the wedding, like there should be some sort of event to accommodate everybody that's coming from out of town to celebrate you getting married. Yes, it's her wedding and she can invite who she wants, but at the same time, does she have to invite her? No, but it's kind of rude to have a rehearsal dinner or like a welcome party or whatever and not invite certain members of the family or whatever. Yeah, it's one thing if you're having a wedding and like there's like 5 people going. It's another thing to have like a massive out-of-town wedding and like exclude people from wedding events. That's a little odd. When he told the bride that it wasn't right that aunt/godmother hadn't been invited, the bride became very irritated and eventually texted him, "Don't come." So when I woke up on Thursday, ready to leave, we were all stunned. Who says that? Like to their, like, don't come? None of us ended up attending the rehearsal dinner or the wedding. Since then, the bride has cut off all communication, as have her sisters. It seems the bride was only involving father of the bride because she wanted money for the wedding. Yeah, I mean, I hate to say it, but if the father of the bride contributed money, like a very substantial amount of money, I'm sorry, but they get a few invites. That's not free. It comes with strings, and the very least that you can do for that very large gift is to include members of their family. Am I the a-hole for not going to the wedding or the rehearsal dinner? My daughter, onto the bride, was so upset and was okay with us going without her, but she didn't understand how the bride and her now husband could not have included her in the rehearsal dinner. The rehearsal dinner was held at a bar and restaurant, not fancy. Others who had been invited, step-grandfather and stepmother of the bride, could not attend, so there was room. Point blank, it's not about the room. It's about the bride not wanting her aunt there. I'm just telling you right now. For whatever reason, maybe it was a budget thing, which is entirely possible, but it's also like, you did get $20,000, so... Like, was she paying for it? It just, I don't know. Maybe it was a budget thing. I have a feeling that it's a budget thing, but still. It wasn't a money issue for the groom's family either, as they had funds to be in a suite on the ocean for 5 nights, and it was a casual outdoor bar restaurant setting.
Well, there goes that theory.
What if Aunt the bride hadn't known that she hadn't been included and she showed up? Would she have been sent packing to wait for the rest of us at the hotel, embarrassed?
Never assume.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird that, some people are invited to, the night before thing. And, granted, I've been to weddings before where, Mike was the MC and, he had to go to a rehearsal dinner the night before and, I wasn't included in that. But I would think that, members of the family would be included in something like that. My granddaughter has not reached out since. I'm now a widow, and they didn't send a card about my husband's passing. Even though Aunt of the bride had emailed them about him being close to death. They visited him once a few days before at the facility when we weren't there, but nothing. There was a lot of wedding planning that has caused hurt feelings well before this that were red flags, but how could the bride and groom not include the bride's aunt/godmother at an outdoor bar and restaurant? They could have simply just made room for her, and she was also the godmother of the bride. Am I the a-hole for expecting all the guests to have been included in an out-of-town rehearsal dinner? I thought it was a given that out-of-town guests were always invited to such things, and if it was a destination wedding, that meant everyone attending should have been invited. I'm so disturbed by this, I don't know what to do. Okay, again, it's her wedding, and she can invite who she wants. Maybe it was a budget thing, maybe they were paying for everybody to be at this, dinner or whatever, and they didn't want it to, they had to cut it off at some point, and it was, a small thing. But at the end of the day, I do genuinely feel that, if you're having a destination wedding, and, granted, these people can afford it. If you're having a destination wedding, everybody's coming in from out of town, traveling really far, taking time off for you. The least you can do is have, some sort of drinks event, maybe not necessarily pay for another event, but just have some sort of meetup or something. I'm just saying. Am I the a-hole for expecting all of the guests to be included? I mean, I wouldn't say all the guests. Wedding party are often invited to rehearsal dinners and not all the guests. But I would think that someone who was super close to the bride would be invited. If I were the father of the bride, I would send mother of the bride and bride an invoice for the money he contributed. I don't hate that idea. Not the a-hole. I wouldn't have gone with her attitude and last-minute changes for a destination wedding. It sucks that she doesn't seem to give a rat's ass, but please live your life. It kind of sounds like the bride has this mentality of
this is what I'm doing, and everybody else.
It is her wedding. She can do that, but she also needs to suffer the consequences of people not being happy about not being accommodated, and it is what it is. You can't accommodate everybody. I feel like her behavior, telling someone that contributed a very large amount of money to her wedding to not come because he felt that someone should be included. That's a little brash. You can be kind of annoyed about people making demands of you the week of your wedding, but you don't have to tell people not to come. That's a little rude. Not little, a lot. I'm Canadian and I've never been to a rehearsal dinner. Not sure if it's not a thing in my country or not a thing with the people I'm around.
Canadians are heathens.
So again, rehearsal dinners are not something that everything is invited to. I have been to a few destination weddings. I had one myself. I did have an event the night before the wedding. And I've been to other destination weddings where they had welcome parties, welcome events where people met up before and everybody's excited and meeting each other and stuff like that. So it's normal for an out of town wedding to have something where everybody gathers the night before, a dinner or drinks at a bar or whatever. I thought rehearsal dinner was for members of the wedding party and not every family member, no matter how precious they are. Yeah, it's a good point. Sometimes, yeah. Where I'm from, it's considered polite to invite out-of-town guests as well, not leave them to fend for themselves. But this being a destination wedding and everyone being from out of town, not sure how that would work. I get what everybody's saying in the comments. That's like, I've literally never been to a rehearsal dinner. It's not something that everyone's invited to. That's totally fair. I just do think that this was an out-of-town wedding, and I think that it's normal to like have, I think it's like the custom to have some sort of event the night before to welcome everybody. Yeah, I think it's a preference thing, honestly. And like also there's the added thing about like people contributing to the wedding too. Like they're good enough for you to take their money, but not good enough for them to be like, yo, like, can we maybe like invite this person who really cares about you? Unfortunately, that's the way it is. You accept money from people, your family members and such, and they get to make demands like that. So I don't think that you're the a-hole. I think it's totally normal for people to have events the night before the wedding, but that's just how I feel about it.
That's my opinion!
I don't think you're the a-hole. Maid of honor to sister. I set a bachelorette budget and was told to just start saving. Well, like how much though? My initial text said, hey, I just want you to have an amazing bachelorette, but I need to be upfront about my budget so we're all on the same page. With the flights and everything else we'll be doing, I can realistically spend $400 to $500 max per person on the Airbnb. I'm totally open to a pool or hot tub if it fits within that range. Like the place you saved with the pool would actually be perfect at about $393 per person. I can't swing $600 plus per person on housing when we'll be out most of the time and already spending a lot on activities. I don't want this to become stressful or uncomfortable for me or anyone else financially, so I wanted to be clear before anything else is booked. Okay, fair enough.
Good communication.
Her response, I'll try to be respectful of your budget, but also think it may be more than $450 because of all the minor fees. We are going during a holiday, so that alone is more money than most weekends. I think moving forward, just understand that where we're going is an expensive place already. California is not cheap. Realistically, drinks and food will be more than what you expect. Truly, it's awkward to even say this, but I'm still not really supposed to be paying for anything during that weekend. Ooh. Oh, you said that. She said it. Ooh, I don't love that. I know money's tight for some people. Just start budgeting and saving. I also have a wedding and living expenses to pay for. So I get it, but it's also a once-in-a-lifetime trip.
You sure about that? You sure about that?
I know that, like, I've done videos in the past about destination bachelorettes and stuff like that, where it's been like, okay, expect to spend money. If you're going on a destination bachelorette, expect to spend money. With the case of this, she's being completely upfront about the fact that she cannot afford it. I think that she's completely within her rights to not attend this event. If it's going to be something that's like completely out of control, like expect to spend like thousands of dollars, like that sort of thing. Realistically, you're going on a destination bachelorette, you should expect to spend that amount of money. But that doesn't mean that everybody's going to be able to go. I'm the maid of honor. The bride is my older sister. There will be 6 of us going to California over Memorial Day weekend. 4 days, 3 nights. We never discussed budgets up front, and to my knowledge, she hasn't discussed budgets with the other bridesmaids either. I know this is partly on me. I also don't have their numbers, and this is my first time being in a bridal party, so I genuinely didn't know what was typical. I was under the impression that she would pay for her flight and her portion of the Airbnb, and the rest of us would cover our own portions plus food, drinks, activities for her. I feel like that's fair. Honestly, I know it's like tradition for the bride to like not pay for anything, but I think like with these bachelorettes getting so out of control and like, I don't think that that's a fair thing to ask at all. And it certainly isn't a fair thing to like hold over people's heads either. This assumption was partly because she'd been very particular about the Airbnb vibe. Based on her math, she's not including herself in the split, which I now realize I shouldn't have assumed. She planned most of the bachelorette herself. I've tried helping with planning locations, restaurants, and activities, but most of my suggestions were changed because they weren't the right vibe or she found something better. She also has a matron of honor who's been helping look at Airbnbs. She's been a bridesmaid for at least 2 of the girls who are now in her bridal party, so I don't know if she paid for a lot of their bachelorettes and now expects the same in return. It's possible. Regardless, this is far more than I expected. Honestly, fair enough. It's crazy out there. Realistically, bachelorette trips, they're expensive. Especially, you know, like if you have gone over and above to pay for like your friends' big bachelorettes where you're all going to Tulum and Costa Rica and Vegas and
Salty.
Believe me, it gets out of control. And then it's like, okay, so this is the standard. I guess like I also want to do that for my bachelorette. It is kind of the standard. It's not everybody's standard. I just know that it's a thing. I'm not financially well off and she knows this. I live carefully within my means and I have been budgeting, but there's only so much I can save. The financial stress has been making me anxious and her response felt dismissive given she planned most of the trip and set the costs. If I'm being like totally honest here, like if I was the bride here and like I have a friend who's like my best friend, she's my maid of honor, and she's kind of expressing that she's like worried about the cost of the bachelorette. Like I understand it's customary for me to be paid for as the bride, but like I feel like I would do her a solid and like just fork out some cash, you know, like fork out some cash, make sure she can be there, try to compromise because it's like I feel like more important to me to like also have my people around me. And I've also been in situations where like other people have like paid for people that they really want to be at their weddings and stuff like that and they couldn't afford it. Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't love the way that she's being treated, just saying. At this point, I feel stuck because she's my sister. If I say I can't afford the trip, I'm worried she'll be angry or even remove me from the bridal party. She also left me on red for 2 days after I sent my original message. If I go, I'll be spending money I truly don't have, and I'm already feeling resentment build. I know I should have spoken up sooner, but I didn't.
Better late than never.
Unfortunately, it kind of just seems like it's like a little out of your control and like she needs to be, I understand it's your sister, but like she also has to be like reasonable too. And if she wants, you know, all the craziness and I feel like she could also pay for some of that herself. And yeah, budget really should have been discussed. It is possible that she's been on lots of these like expensive bachelorettes before with no budget and she kind of expected the same for herself. But if someone is telling you that they can't afford it, and believe me, these types of discussions will come up. Like we've definitely been in situations in my friend group where people couldn't come, you know, they're trying to convince us to go somewhere like a hostel to stay. And I'm like, F that, I'm not staying in a hostel, but that's the only way that they can afford to come. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. So like you can stay in a hostel. I'm not staying in a hostel. They scare the out of me. But yeah, it's resulted in them not being able to go, and it is what it is, right? It is what it is. The bride has the right to like have the fun bachelorette, like, and go all out. She does have the right to do that. But if someone is expressing to her, someone important to her, that they're like not going to be able to like pay for it, like I don't understand. You should care more about the people that are around you than like them being able to afford your trip. And maybe the trip's more important to her. I don't know.
Once in a lifetime.
Okay, so partial update. I talked to the bride about my budget concerns. She says she's frustrated because she feels like she planned everything herself. Even though I did try to help and the things I worked on ended up getting changed or scrapped. She said I'm the only one in the bridal party with a budget and no one else has raised money concerns. So what? And that she doesn't want to have to limit what she can do because of me. Fine. So like if that's how she feels, then like she has to be okay with you not going. I explained that money makes me really anxious. I'm trying to save. I have student loans and I don't want to go into debt for this trip. She asked why that would happen and I explained the total cost is already more than I was expecting. She said she doesn't want to be worried about money on her bachelorette and suggested that maybe this trip isn't for me. Great. I agree. She also said if I don't go, she'd have to replan parts of her wedding, which I felt like she was implying I wouldn't be a bridesmaid anymore. Okay, that's a no. That's a no from me, dog. Let's keep it at, so then honestly, like it's totally fine if you don't want to come to my bachelorette or you can't come to my bachelorette because you're worried about money. Totally fair. Obviously, I would love for you to be there and that's it. It's not,
well, then I'm gonna have to meet.
Like that's where you're a bridezilla, okay? I'm just saying. She doesn't want to put the Airbnb on her card, but I also can't front the amount. I don't want to have the lump sum or hold the on. She wants you to put it on your credit card?
She's a little scammer.
Ooh, no. Why is it going on the person's credit card that's concerned? No wonder you're concerned about money. I would literally, if she wanted this, okay, so she doesn't even have enough credit to be able to do this, but like if one person is gonna put money on a credit card to afford an Airbnb, everyone needs to send the money for the Airbnb before it's on the credit card. Like, I've been in so many situations where I paid for the Airbnb, did not get paid back for like literally months. I can't even imagine asking someone who has like budget concerns to do that either. There also isn't a clear plan for how group expenses like drinks and Ubers will be split, which makes me anxious because I don't want to end up stuck paying more than my share. She said it wouldn't be tit for tat or evenly split.
I think I'll pass.
Okay. Well, no, that's why apps like Splitwise exist. Great app. Highly recommend for group trips. When I mentioned trying to keep the whole trip around $1,500 total, she said that probably isn't realistic because of the fees. I said it feels like she was already resentful, and when she asked why, I mentioned her tone. She said she does have a tone and feels justified because I'm just now bringing this up, even though the budget issue only really became a problem once we started talking about Airbnb prices. She asked me to decide by Sunday whether I'm going. By the end of the call, I felt like my financial boundaries weren't being respected and that I was being made to feel like the problem for having a budget. I mean, listen, just now bringing this up, you bring it up when you realize that this is getting a little out of control and you can't afford it. She's for sure being a bridezilla. And like, granted, you know, she probably has been in situations where she spent a lot of money on friends that are getting married. She's gone to their bachelorettes and like, you know, it's like loose, right? It's kind of like,
oh yeah, I'll pay for this here, I'll pay for this there. Like,
I will let you know that most group trips that I've been on, you put everything into a splitwise and like, you know, you do have to keep track. Otherwise, it gets out of hand quite fast. But hey, hello. If you can't afford to be on this bachelorette trip, then she needs to respect that and like not hold it over your head and be resentful about it, because it's like, what do you expect people to do? Like, people can't go into debt for your wedding, let alone a bachelorette trip. Like, come on. It's a once in a lifetime trip for her. For her. Yeah, that part. Believe me, bachelorettes are really, really fun most of the time. But yeah, it's just not everybody has that standard of a bachelorette, you know? And you have to be okay with that. She's being incredibly selfish, and people need to normalize having conversations about budgets for these things. They've gotten a bit out of control and people think, well, just save then, as if many people aren't just trying to get by and haven't ever been able to save. It seems a bitch out of touch. Do what you gotta do. She has the right to have the bachelorette that she wants to have, okay? It is what it is. But you have to also be okay with people not being able to attend. It is what it is. It's not a big deal either way. As a grown woman, not including yourself in the split of a very expensive trip that you organize and are demanding people to attend is a move. Yes, 1000%. So this whole thing about, you know, brides not really paying for their own bachelorette trips, you know, I've heard of that. I've never been on a bachelorette trip that was like that, honestly. I've heard of it being customary. It is getting a little crazy, okay? It is getting to a point where it's like, that's not, like, unless we're all like extremely well off, I don't really see that being possible for most people. But then also being the one that's picking everything and likely picking things that are more expensive and then demanding to be paid for is nuts. She needs to pay up and subsidize those with less funds or have something local. I understand she wants the trip that she wants to have, but like, then she's also saving money. Just fork out some money and get your sister over there, you know? Like, say it one more time directly. I cannot spend more than this amount. If you expect me to spend more on this, I can't attend. If me being maid of honor won't work, I'm sad, but I accept your choice. Done. Finito. Basta. My sister said I ruined her wedding. Here's the context. My sister's getting married on October 26th, a beautiful outdoor spring wedding. We are in Australia. I was like, October is not in the spring. That is such a mind, you know, like October being in the spring. That's crazy to think about. She instructed me. I was maid of honor, not asked, just told me. Okay. She said, you don't have to ask family. They should just do it. No, you usually ask. You usually ask. Like, I've had people literally come to me with like a cake and ask to be like their MC and with like writing on it. It is something that you ask. Just saying. She wants a child-free wedding. Fine. My in-laws will have my son, who will be 18 months at the time. The wedding is in a holiday destination, which is a 2.5-hour drive from where we live. And my in-laws have a holiday house there, and we plan on staying there, and my in-laws will watch my son at their holiday house. Okay. She asked hubby to be her MC. Okay. Their bridal party is uneven, including me. She has maid of honor, 4 bridesmaids, and her fiance has a best man and 3 groomsmen. Okay. Now on to the situation. I'm currently very early in my second pregnancy with twins and suffering really terrible morning sickness, although I'm sick all the time. As I'm not finished first trimester, we haven't announced it yet. 38 weeks is mid-August, so all being well, babies will barely be 6 weeks at her wedding. Hubby and I spoke about it and feel the best thing would be me stepping down as maid of honor and let her have her best friend, and I'll do my best to attend. Sister was at my house last night and I needed to go and vomit, and she made a joke to my husband about it being morning sickness. And he was like, it actually is. We haven't announced it yet. And my sister lost it and came into my ensuite yelling at me that I'm so selfish. She told me I've ruined her wedding, and she told me not to get pregnant before her wedding. What? Yeah, no, it doesn't work like that, unfortunately. We've discussed this before. It's, you know, old news. People's lives don't stop just because you're getting married. And also, I think, like, ruin the wedding is kind of like, that's reaching, okay? Someone being pregnant does not ruin your wedding. Hubby told her she was welcome to leave until she stopped yelling. I gave her the night to settle down in mall. I called her this morning. She lost it at me on the phone, continued that I ruined her wedding and I was uninvited.
Oh, no. Anyway.
Well, I mean, you weren't gonna go anyway. She's being dramatic. She's being dramatic, and I know she's your sister, but like, you didn't even really want to go anyway, so just like let her cool off. It's fine. Your sister is selfish. You should back out as maid of honor and just attend as a guest. Yeah, I mean, that goes without saying, I think. At this point, I'd have second thoughts about even attending as a guest. I want to put as much distance between me and her as possible if I were OP. They're sisters, you know. I agree, the bride's acting really, really stupid. Hopefully she cools off, but if she doesn't, yeah, I wouldn't go either. Even if she took back uninviting her, I wouldn't go. Her husband should also back out of being MC. I mean, she ruined her own wedding, realistically. I would also be going low contact for a while and maybe no contact, depending on if sister escalates her behavior by harassing her or bringing in flying monkeys or anything. Yeah, I forgot about the husband being MC. Yeah, that's gonna have to like not happen as well. She really should have thought of that before she acted ridiculous. Why is someone being pregnant for your wedding ruining your wedding? I fail to understand that. Like, I will never understand that mentality. Like, what is wrong with you?
Oh, a lot.
Well, you're mad about being upstaged. You're mad about, you know, people not being able to show up. It is what it is. We're all at an age, you know, where someone's going to be pregnant. Someone's going to be getting engaged. Someone's going to be getting married at the same time as you. Like, get the over it and stop being a bridezilla. Subscribe.